You were just recently on the cover of Time.
Yeah.
What did that mean to you?
It was a dream come true. It was sort of the realization of a lot of years of hard work and struggle. On a very personal level, it's just unbelievable. I still haven't fully processed it. It still hasn't even been a month yet. And I found out on my birthday, which was pretty remarkable, I think. I got a letter from a 12-year-old who identifies as a boy but loves to dress in girls' clothes and goes to a camp every year to do that. And their mother's really supportive of them. And they wrote me and said that my mom gave me a copy of the Time magazine that you're on the cover of, and I look up to you, and you're a huge inspiration to me. And I read the email, and I was late one night. I was checking my email, and I lay in my bed, and I just bawled like a baby. I did. It was just so emotional because I thought, my gosh, when I was 12 years old, if I had someone to look to to affirm who I was, my life might have been very different. So the fact that that cover can do that for young people and for people of all ages means a great deal to me.
You know, there's people on the internet and people even running for office in various places in the States who say this is the work of Satan.
Yes. Someone literally said that. I got a Google alert saying that this me being on the cover of Time was the work of Satan. I didn't read the article. I just saw the headline. At the end of the day, if you have a problem with someone else living their lives and being authentically who they are, you really should go and do some soul searching.
People seem to focus on the whole body parts thing. You've decided not to talk about that.
Yeah.
Why?
When we talk about surgery and when we talk about transition, that becomes the only takeaway. And ultimately that, I believe, dehumanizes and objectifies trans people so that we are reduced to bodies. And gender is about so much more than that. My womanhood, my mother's womanhood, the womanhood of so many women I know is about more than the some of their parts. I'm not trying to dictate to anyone how they should describe their experience or their identity, but for me, I've made that choice because my subjectivity is about my spirit and my soul and how I think and what I have to say, and I want that to be the focus and not my body. My body matters, and my medical transition has been life-saving for me, truly life-saving.
So you grew up in Mobile, Alabama.
Yes.
What was that like?
I was bullied, big time. And I was terrorized by the other kids. I was chased home from school practically every day by groups of kids who wanted to beat me up. So 4 or 5 kids, chasing me home. Sometimes they caught me and I was held down and kicked and beaten. That was deeply traumatizing, and I have a lot of moments to this day.
Why do you think people are so threatened or so offended?
I think, honestly, that trans people and trans identity very much challenges our very notions of what it means to be a man or a woman. And I think that's a great thing, but I think a lot of people are not comfortable with that. So much of, I was really, when I just analyzing, I try not to read negative things about myself, but there was an article written after my Time magazine cover. It's basically saying that I'm not a woman. And I think most of the basis of most of the arguments against trans people is that we're not who we say we are, that we are always and only the gender that we were assigned at birth. And so much of that is about having the sense of certainty around gender, that when you are born, if you have a certain set of genitalia, then that must dictate your entire life. And the reality is that that's not true. And a lot of people are not comfortable with that because then that means they have to begin to question who they are.
How difficult is it to come out?
It's different for everybody. It's a very complicated thing. And I think, honestly, that trans people are the most courageous and resilient people that I know. And I think anyone who has the audacity to be themselves should be celebrated and not discriminated against, not ridiculed, stigmatized, criminalized.
You know, some parents, families are saying that's just too intrusive. Don't be encouraging our kids to have these weird thoughts because they can't handle them, and we're the parents and we know what's best for our kids. And when do you know that you know?
what's been genius about more and more trans children and their parents allowing them to come forward is that we're getting information that kids know at 3, 4, 5 years old that
But that's
they are
terrifying
who
for
they
parents
are.
to.
It was terrifying for me. It was terrifying for. It's even worse for the kid. It's even worse for the kid who who knows who they are and is being told to like go and do something else that is counter to who they really are. It's actually much worse for the child, and we don't often survive it. 41% of all trans people have attempted suicide, compared to 1% of the rest of the population.
You tried, right? You tried.
I tried. Yeah.
Why?
I did, my grandmother had passed. God, this is still hard to talk about. My grandmother had passed away, and I believe that she was up in heaven looking down on me, and that she knew that I was having all of these thoughts. The time too, I was going through puberty, and I knew I was attracted to other boys, and everyone was telling me I was a boy. And the idea of disappointing her, I didn't want to live. I didn't want to live. And so I took a bottle of pills, swallowed them, went to sleep, hoping not to wake up, and I did. And yeah.
A lot of kids do.
A lot of kids do. And
A lot of trans kids
yeah.
attempt.
And a lot of trans kids are turned out of their homes. Almost, I think it's something like 40% of all LGBTQ, of all homeless youth are LGBTQ, and a lot of those are trans kids who when they tell their parents that they're trans or LGBT, their parents kick them out. And so they're forced to live on the streets and do whatever they have to do to survive.
So what do you want to see?
Oh gosh.
Is there a list of?
There's a list. I want to see a world where people are not stigmatized, sensationalized, objectified, and criminalized for being who they are. I want to see a world of gender self-determination, where when someone is born, the first questions we ask aren't, is it a boy or a girl, or are they healthy? And let's let them maybe make the decision about which toy they want to play with or how they want to identify in terms of their gender.
I really enjoyed talking to you. Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.